The International Organization for Migration says that it will repatriate 180 Nigerians stranded in Libya back to their home country on January the 8th. The United Nations Migration Agency says also that the repatriation is under its continuing voluntary humanitarian return program aimed at assisting returnees stranded in Libya to their homelands. Last week, IOM's Libya mission chartered its first flight of 2018, assisting 142 returnees departing from Libya to Gambia. Let's now bring in migration expert Emmanuel Okonkwo to talk to us more in the studio here. Thank you very much indeed for coming.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, the International Organization for Migration is, trying as hard as possible, doing its best to ensure that, these ones stranded, return to their homelands. But in the case, let's come back home now.
Absolutely.
Should they be the ones, taking the lead in doing this? For instance, for Nigerians who are in trouble in Libya.
Well, it's good they're doing it, and it doesn't matter who does it. I think what my concern is.
I mean, should they be the ones taking the lead in doing so? Yes, they are doing their humanitarian part, but should they be the ones taking the lead?
Well, they are called the International Organization for Migration, so that is something they do. But what I like to see is a joint effort between them and our government. And I think there's been some changes. What's happening right now is that, for instance, the Edo State government has really risen up to its responsibility, because a lot of these people, a large percentage of these returnees are actually from Edo State. So what I am not worried about what the IOM are doing. My concern is when you bring these people here, would the states take responsibilities? And what we are seeing is that it looks like it's just Edo State that's risen up to take responsibility for its citizens in this batch. So I like Imo State, for instance, Abia states, the states in the north. I've been blaming the federal government for a long time over this matter, but I'm also beginning to see that these returnees come from states. They come from local governments, and I think it's time for these states to, when they bring them back to Lagos, the representatives of the various states should be here to pick up people from their own states.
And reintegrate them into the society.
Exactly. And then we're doing our own bit. I run Icon Foundation. We've got some of these people. Some of them they might come from anywhere, but they don't really have access to their states. So the NGOs in Lagos, we have to also play our part. So I've got a couple of the people that came the last time. We took 2, and we're trying to resettle them. We're running a hostel. And they come back very confused. They come back needing psychological help. They come back needing integration. And so what is lacking is coordination between the federal government, any NGOs that want to help out, and then the state government. There has to be cooperation between these 3 organizations for us to do something. Yes.
All right. So you have been involved. I know full well that you have been involved in also trying to help out. But what more are you doing beyond what you do at the moment to ensure that there is this sort of coordination among the 3 organization concerned, the IOM, the federal government, and NGOs like you as well?
We had a media chat last week, and we had Mrs. Abike Dabiri, the special advisor to President on Diaspora. And she's a very passionate woman about this, very passionate concerning this matter. And I raised this issue with her in that media chat, and we're hoping that something can come out of it. She's doing her best, but if we are going to tackle this problem, then the federal government has to be involved. Where we're not getting enough support is the state government, who own these people. These people are not stateless; they come from states, and we're not getting support from the government to the NGOs, because we put them up in shelters. We try to retrain them. Some of these women have come back from prostitution. And if you don't do something, they will get back here and go back to what they know how to do. And you can't say stop stop being a prostitute. That's not how to solve the problem. You need to give them an alternative trade, and that's what we're trying to do. Where our problem is, there's no finance, there's no allocation, so you have to just raise money from people, donations and stuff. But I'm not quite sure that you know, again, I don't want to be negative. I think Mrs. Dabire Abike, she's doing her best, but
right.
the government has to do more. Yes.
All right, you say she's doing her best, and you had a chat, you know, with her as well. Did
yes.
she, by any means, you know, outline some of the things, you know, that the government is likely to do or come up with, you know, to ensure that these ones who returned, you know, can be helped?
Yeah, yes, she obviously she's working very closely and putting pressure on the Edo State government. She also mentioned that she would be working with us in the NGOs, the inner city of Outreach Nigeria Foundation. So there are things she's postulated. Obviously, that meeting happened around the festive period, and this is action time. We're in January now, especially with this this one's coming back. I like to see those promises.
Well,
yeah.
beyond all of this,
Yes.
I mean, the major issue here is that if things were right in the first place,
yes.
as many as these ones, you know, as many as we had now would not have gone out, you know, to seek, you know, greener pastures.
Absolutely.
So that leaves a sort of responsibility on the part of government
Yes.
at
Yes.
all state levels,
Yes.
even at the federal level, to
Yes.
ensure that things are put in place. Right?
Absolutely. All we're doing now is after the fact. All we're doing is after the mess. The best solution to this problem is to create a Nigeria where people are not looking to run away and run to the desert to die. That's the solution. And until that happens, we are going to have to be dealing with this confusion and crisis.
Well, in your words, let's be hopeful that
it's a new year.
Government.
Yeah, it's a new year. Thank you very much.
All right.
All right.
Migration expert Emmanuel Okonkwo, thank you very much indeed for coming, as always.
Yeah, thanks.